Hello, my absolutely gorgeous little pies. Welcome to part 2 of the anxiety box, which I made yesterday. Part 2 today, because I couldn't fit it all in one video because it would have been like a movie. But what I want to do is start off by saying, and I really mean this with all my heart, such a big thank you I'm not joking. I've had so many emails saying to me, one for instance was from all the way from Texas, from this gorgeous lady, and she said, you have helped make mine and my son's journey amazing. Me, with my videos and my sharing, and I just couldn't believe it. And then I had another lady saying that, you know, she's a therapist and she's worked in special needs SEN for 25 years, and she's going to take a lot of the things that I've shared on here into her therapy sessions, into her school, and get the teachers using them and working with them. And my heart could have burst. So I just want to say thank you so much, because if you look back right on my very, very early videos, which I made actually before my YouTube launch, when I didn't even know I was going to end up with a YouTube channel, I remember saying, just feeling so frightened and so anxious actually, thinking that I'm going to just lose everything, because my whole business, my whole passion, my whole life centers around touch. So it was like 23rd of March, the doors came down, that was it. And I really genuinely thought that I would lose everything, because I wasn't eligible for any grants, because apparently, this was nice news, apparently I own my house. I did actually think I had a mortgage, but there we go. There's some good news. No, apparently I own it. And being self-employed, I didn't come under the category for anything. I was like somebody who had just disappeared again. And it was really tough. And I remember saying on those early videos, you know, if I go down, I'll go down sharing. And I stand by that to this day. But thank you to all of you out there who have just written to me, because I've done so much stuff for free over COVID, because I just love what I do, and there's no way anyone's going to shut me up, even COVID. I mean, it would take a miracle. So I needed to channel my energy, and you've all suffered it, but it's done some good. So I really thank you with all my heart, because I've raised my children, and I know it doesn't sound like the most exciting thing in the world, but I've raised all of my children to say, you know, the most valuable thing, the most beautiful thing that you can do with your lives is to make them useful, is to serve people or the world in some way, and to bring your gifts and to bring those wonky life cards, because they do make it a bit interesting sometimes, and to turn it into beautiful things, to touch others, to learn that heart wisdom. And I have to say, all four are well on their way with that, plus my rainbow kids that I share lots of different things with. So I'm going to crack on with my anxiety box now. Yesterday I shared some breathing techniques and explained to you on a neuroscientific level how it really boosts the brain and the body with all those coping chemicals and happy hormones. And if you remember from videos before, I'm always telling you, aren't I, because I do go on a bit about these wonderful serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine and endorphins, our happy hormones and coping chemicals, and how when we work with those and give that child those messages of being able to cope and function, doing these games, learning through play, making it fun, but all based in science, you actually begin to program the trillions and trillions of cells that bomb around our body carrying memory. So it's really fantastic. And kids, when they're learning through play, are like beautiful little pieces of blotting paper. They soak it all up like gorgeous little sponges, which is how we should all be, childlike, not childish, childlike, full of openness, wonderment, and feeling like blotting paper. So I'm going to get on with the rest of my anxiety box, and today I'm doing a little bit about touch, and my extremely handsome, beautiful oldest son is going to take part in a couple of these very generously. And do you know, I often think, how did I end up with such amazing, beautiful children? I've really embarrassed him now before he gets on, but that's my job as a mum. So the little gingerbread people, do you remember those, the little wooden people? They don't have to be wooden people. They can be You can buy cut out gingerbread men. You can buy flower shapes. You can cut them out. Cut out different shapes. Cut out little men. It helps with fine motor skills. It helps with mindfulness. You know, when you work with mindfulness, it helps to the subconscious, taps into those 37.2 trillion cells and fires them all up. And you're completely absorbed in what you're doing, and it's a fantastic antidote to anxiety and OCD, which is what my little anxiety box is all about. And by the way, Kazzy, my dearest friend, thank you for the beautiful shortbread that you gave me. Some of it was chocolate as well, solid serotonin. Lovely, Kazzy. See, I recycle everything. The box, that is, not Kazzy. Right, so on we go. So I've got, what have I got here? So we got the massage one. So the first one, so imagine I'd hidden these all around the garden, or if I was in a flat, I'd hide them all round, or a house, I'd hide them all in different bookshelves, behind the loo, well, maybe not that, but you know, under pillows, sleeping in beds. You can make a real treasure hunt around your house, or you could take them with a picnic with you, off to the beach or the park. Now we're allowed out. And you could make fun there if you've got a load of kids with you, or you run a forest school group or something like that. So the first one is deep palm massage, and this one I've mentioned before. So all the kids run around and find these little men, or they can just do a lucky dip box. It's entirely up to you how you want to play with it. I never share anything by rote. To me, everything I share are like little seeds, and you will make it your own, because that gets the kids' imaginations and creativity firing around, and it makes them feel valued. And when a child feels valued, they're full of serotonin, the hormone of happiness, confidence and self-esteem, which also gives that anxiety and OCD a flipping good bash. So deep palm massage, you cup your hand, and that deepest part of the palm, I've mentioned this on videos before, it's about 2 or 3 fingertips in, depending on how massive or how little your hand is. And that deepest part there, with the thumb of the other hand, you then rub it. It's as simple as that. You're just rubbing it. And this is a tool that kids could take back to school with them when the schools reopen, and they will all be feeling anxious. Neurotypical children, neurodiverse children, we're all people. You know, behind all those labels, those are for jam jars. We're all people. So this is a good one for the kids to take to school with them if they feel that anxiety building, because they've been through a lot in 2020, our little ones. And so have we. Well, I'm still little, but you know what I mean, older ones. So they can do that on each palm, and when you work on that deepest part of the palm, it's actually an anxiety point, and you are working on the second brain, the enteric brain. This is scientific, and it's the seat of fear, the seat of anxiety and dread. So when you're working there, you're working on your tummies, which hold on to all that. So that's the first one. Here's another idea for the gingerbread men. Do massage circles up either side of your neck. Now you can't do this if you've got cancer, because lymph travels up the neck and that can carry cancer cells, so you don't want to spread that. But you can literally you can use all your fingers. I use all 4 of mine, but the pads, not the fingertips. You don't want to feel like you're being stabbed, because that won't help with anxiety. That will make it worse. And you're going up either side of your neck, up to that little bony ridge that sticks out, the occipital ridge. My rainbow kids call it the octopus ridge. I said it in a talk once by accident. I had to cough quickly. So you just go up like that, and you're directly on the vagus nerve. And you know what that does? Yes, it pushes up all the dopamine, the hormone of pleasure, reward, motivation, focus, attention, clear thinking, good judgment, perspective. Oh my God, I do talk a lot, but it really does do all those things. Not only that, when you work on the vagus nerve, and you always go up because you want to push it up. When you work on the vagus nerve, you're keeping heart rate and blood pressure nice and stable. So that also helps you drop from that anxious place, or that place where the anxiety is so great, it's manifested into OCD. So that's another good one. Temple rotations, my favourite, because the temples are the capital city of the happy hormones and the coping chemicals. I could explode with joy. Pads of the fingers, and you just literally, and don't do it too hard because you have to be careful with temples, but just a gentle but firm pressure. And you can do this in pairs. You could do it with the kids all sitting around in a circle, or you could do it on yourself. And again, this is a really handy one to take with you to school. Even you teachers out there, you know, you might need to just do this if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, because 3 of our main happy hormones and coping chemicals are made and produced through here in the pituitary. And the fourth one, dopamine, travels up the sides of the head and is stored there. You can't go wrong. If you're very sensitive to touch, do it with your temples, or if you're with your palms, I mean. Or if you're working with somebody, keep your fingers nice and straight so they don't go in their eyes, and you can just rotate their temples with your palms. And then that way it's not so invasive if you're working with somebody who's a little bit more sensitive or even touch averse. So that will get you bombing about with happy hormones, and that really is going to just give it a belting, that anxiety, because it's a horrible, horrible thing. I hate it. Right, shampoo your heads. Oh my God, I love this one. My hair's going to go really, really big. So you push your hands up into your scalp. So you're not massaging your hair, you're shampooing your scalp. And, you know, lift it, go like this. Lift it, it'll give you goose pimples all down your arms. Oh my God, it's so delicious. And you just massage up like that and do all the sides of your head and out to your temples, and you just shampooing, lifting the scalp at the same time. That's pushing blood and oxygen to the brain, and it's working on all sorts of parts of the head that relate to clear thinking, to focus, sensory processing, anything that could lead to an overwhelm and that anxious feeling. And it gives you big hair, unless you're bald. And you're out of luck there, sorry. So occiput rubbing. I know that sounds really weird, doesn't it? But you know that bone, the bottom of your head that joins onto the top of your neck? If you push your fingers up your neck, you'll find it, because it's that first bony ridge that sticks out. And you want the pads of your fingers, and you just rub along that and follow the line of it. But you're not on it, you're underneath it. There's all these gorgeous little pits and hollows. This massively helps with sleep, because you're going on what are called the still points, which bring the body to stillness. I've mentioned them on videos before. But if you just do that all along, it stretches the neck, which is absolutely gorgeously soporific, but you are bringing the body to stillness, and that will help with sleep. And when we're anxious, or we've got OCD and we've got to do a million routines with the right thoughts and whatever's going on in your head, it's really, really hard to reach that point of stillness. So that's a fantastic one to put in your anxiety box. Clam cuddle is this one, the mummy squeeze, just giving it a different name. The clam cuddle. I was feeling adventurous. I was feeling a bit creative. You know me, I can't stick to the same thing. Well, I do stick to the same thing, but give it different names, depending on who I'm working with. And this really brings the energy down. And the kids can do it down their legs as well. And you adults can do it. I do it. I get really super nervous before I do all my public speaking. Really, really nervous. Even though I know my stuff and I go from the heart, I feel nervous because I want to give my best. So I will do these things before a talk. So, what else can I do on myself? Oh, do gentle massage circles around your eyes. You use your middle fingers. I can't show you because it will look like I'm being ever so rude to you. And you go all around your eyes, but you just rotate like this. And just move the skin gently. It's wonderful for headaches, because we can get those real tension headaches, anxiety headaches, can't we? Out to the temples, give those happy hormones an extra boost. And go under the eyes too, because when you go under the eyes, anything around the eyes, you're working directly on the stomach, and the stomach holds on to anger, and anxiety. So that's a wonderful one to do, and you can do it on yourself, that one. And that's another one you can take to school. So then we've got I've got to go in the round rock position. Excuse me a moment. I'm going to move my anxiety tin onto the floor. It's going to make a big noise. Sorry about that. Round rock. So it's a yoga position. I hope you can see me. And basically, you're kneeling down like this, and then you want to put your chest onto your knees, if you can. Doesn't matter if it's just your tummy on your knees. And then you put your arms out behind you like this. And that helps to really massage the tummy and the gut again, because you're giving it a little squeeze, and that again will help release the anxiety and push up that dopamine and serotonin. 90% of our serotonin is in the gut. You know it by heart by now. And that will push it up and flood your body with those delicious hormones of coping, motivation, reward, joy, like eating tons of chocolate, euphoria. And honestly, these things work. James, I need to borrow you now, my lovely. This is my son, James. He's very gorgeous. We're going to do a little swap around now. So I can get rid of those gingerbread men. They can go back in the anxiety tin. Added with all the ones from yesterday about breathing. I'm going to go around the other side of the bed, and my beautiful son is going to lie down. So these ones you can't do on yourself. So that's why I've borrowed my son. Honestly, it's true. If you come to my house, you've got two options. Be massaged or be put into food, because one or the other's generally going on. So I've got here today some lavender, because it's good for you to, I haven't mentioned about oils for a little while. Don't use lavender if anyone has epilepsy, don't forget. And I've got rosewood, cuddle in a bottle, and I've got some chamomile, which you can use with people with epilepsy, because chamomile is a deeply relaxing one. You don't have to use oils at all, but it is rather lovely, and these are really good anti-anxiety ones. If you get chamomile Maroc. It does exactly the same as chamomile Roman, but Roman chamomile is like 6 times the price. Rosewood is quite inexpensive, and that's beautiful. And lavender's not too bad, but blend it, put it into some cream or just straight on your hands. And you can do, this first one is do the bear walk. Now the bear walk is like this. You don't go on the spine, you go up either side of the spine. And it's one of those massage strokes. You think, really? Can that be doing much good? But you know, it's heavenly. And the more mindfully you do it, the better. And it's really firm. Well, not really firm. I mean, you know, they're not wincing, but it's just firm. And this is easing that gut area, and it's pushing the dopamine and serotonin up into the brain. The next one is draw circles with a flat hand on someone's back, and it's literally this. And this is absolutely gorgeous. And once again, it's easing all the anxiety from behind the gut, pushing up those happy hormones and coping chemicals, and it just feels gorgeous. It's like a real comforting one. Or you could do it slowly. Somebody's a bit more sensitive, do it slowly. But don't do it so you tickle anyone. Because don't forget, if you do it too lightly, it's no good for anybody with ADHD generally, because they like quite a firm pressure. But for people who are on the autism spectrum, it can feel like burning. So it's nice and firm. And then I'm going to give you one more little tip that you might want to put in your box. And you're going like this. I call it row, row, row the boat. So that's in there as well. Row, row, row the boat. It's this motion with your hands, and you're behind the gut. And once again, you're easing all that pent-up anxiety, dread. Some people get so anxious they actually start to have elimination issues around it, meaning toileting. So they're either holding on to it or they're just releasing everywhere if they're little. And sometimes when they're older too, you know, I've worked with adults who have had this too. And this is so beautiful, and it gets the serotonin and the dopamine all flowing up as well, up the gut. So it's a beautiful grounding one. So have fun with your anxiety boxes. If you haven't got a box, you can make a bag. Just grab a bag. You know, it's jumble up those ideas and just have fun with it. And I really, really, really hope that helps and gives you some tools going forwards as well in these times of change. So look after yourselves, stay safe and happy, keep the happy hormones flowing, because you'll make one little lady so happy if you do that. And I'll speak with you soon. Bye everybody, have a lovely day.